Hi, this is Kirk, the Bariatric Carnivore. Well, it's diet season. It's the beginning of the new year, and U.S. News and World Report came out with their annual report looking at the best diets. And their panel of experts made their recommendations, and I again am left shaking my head, wondering who these idiots are. I mean, I'm not even a doctor, and I can tell, just by looking at the research, what I read, what I hear, that I keep wondering, what are they eating to ignore all the evidence that's come out since the last time they did their study? And it's amazing. I don't know if it's willful ignorance or if they're just remarkably stupid. But let's go through their list and let's talk about the different diets that they recommend. Now, the first one, number one, is one I really don't have a problem with. It's called the Mediterranean diet. The problem is, what's a Mediterranean diet? Well, frankly, I mean, you could go to the state fair or get a falafel, deep fried in vegetable oils, and say it's a part of a Mediterranean diet. I mean, who knows? It's not a defined term. Basically, a lot of people have said, all Mediterranean diet is a standard American diet with olive oil plopped on top of it. And it's such a loose term that as a joke, kind of, when I get into a discussion with people and I kind of realize that they're of a certain bent and I don't want to get into a discussion with them about, the relative merits of a carnivore diet, I'll just tell them on a modified Mediterranean diet, which is technically true. I mean, I'm eating fresh food and, I get away with it, just by saying that. So, and if you're doing a Mediterranean diet or want to do a Mediterranean diet, let me warn you about one thing. One of the key things about a Mediterranean diet is you put olive oil on a lot of stuff. The problem is olive oil isn't olive oil anymore. Frankly, about a third of the stuff that you're buying at Costco that claims to be olive oil is probably some sort of vegetable oil. Food adulteration, particularly with olive oil, is a very impressive business. I mean, each step of the processing system, the government allows you to add 10% vegetable oil, and legally. And it's gotten really bad over in Europe where the mob is involved and organized crime is getting involved in it. And, they can make a lot of money by cutting vegetable oil with canola oil, olive oil with canola oil, and they can double their profits. So you got a real problem when you're trying to use olive oil nowadays. I don't use olive oil anymore because it's just so adulterated, and I don't like vegetable oils. So that's it for the Mediterranean diet, such as it is. Have no real problem with that. My problem is with number two, the DASH diet. Now, the DASH diet is one that our government created. The NIH did some studies back in the 90s when they were trying to reduce blood pressure. And what they did was they got these 600 some odd people, and they're all middle-aged adults. Some of them had high blood pressure, some of them didn't. And they encouraged them to quit smoking if they were still smoking, and they put them on a rather bland diet, boneless, skinless chicken breasts, steamed vegetables, that type of stuff, some fruit, a little bit, but some of the other components of it was, lots of vegetable oil, skim milk, and margarine. Horrible diet for overall health, particularly metabolic health. I mean, frankly, if you want to fatten up a pig, give them skim milk. That's what the farmers do. When they want to fatten up their hogs before they take them to market, that's what they give them, skim milk. If you want to fatten up a human being, give them skim milk. That's kind of the idiocy of this whole process that our U.S. News and World Report wants to tell people to use this diet. And I've tried the DASH diet back before I found low carb, and I tell you, it is so bland that I could stand it a week, and that was it. I frankly could not stand it. It was just a boring diet. I'm not going to spend my life eating boneless, skinless chicken breast with steamed vegetables. And certainly not going to be using margarine, and not going to be doing skim milk. So, but what was particularly aggravating about this particular issue of U.S. News and World Report is this. There was a head-to-head study that came out this June that compared a keto diet versus the DASH diet. The results were amazing. People's blood pressure, which was supposed to be the main thing that was supposed to change when you did a DASH diet, their blood pressure went down significantly more on a keto diet. Matter of fact, their triglycerides dropped. Their good cholesterol went up. They lost more weight. So here you had a head-to-head comparison of keto versus DASH. DASH was smashed into the ground. What did U.S. News and World Report do with all this great new information? They completely ignored it, and they made keto 25 on their list of diets, made DASH number 2. And that's why I keep shaking my head in absolute disbelief that these guys completely ignored maybe one of the biggest health stories of the entire year. If you want to reduce your blood pressure, if you want to get healthier, go keto. That's going to give you significantly more health benefit than the DASH diet. Now, the rest of the diets in the top 10 are all kind of modified Mediterranean diets, all loosely defined diets where you eat fresh fruits and vegetables and, some meat. And that's about it. They're all kind of that modified Mediterranean diet until you get down to about number 6. And this is where they tick me off again and they start pushing Weight Watchers. Now, let me give you an idea of just how effective Weight Watchers is when you really think about it. What is Weight Watchers' big push for 2024? They are going to be in the drug business pushing shots. They're going to be pushing Wegovy. They're going to be the biggest outlet for weight loss GLP-1 inhibitors. Why? Because their diet doesn't work. It never has. The success rate for losing large amounts of weight on Weight Watchers is really low. It was so statistically bad. That's why I had bariatric surgery, is because when I looked at, what's my chances for success doing something like Weight Watchers versus bariatric surgery was significantly, they had about a 60% success rate. The statistics I saw on Weight Watchers were about a 2% success rate. I went with the numbers. It doesn't work. It's not sustainable. Yet, it's always pushed as a healthy way to lose weight, even though it does not work, and it has nothing to do with the people that are doing the diet. They're trying earnestly to do it, but semi-starvation diets just do not work. You can't starve yourself indefinitely. At some point, you're going to quit the diet, and when that happens, you always regain the weight. Then you look at the rest of the list, and what I found absolutely appalling is things like Jenny Craig and other type of diets like that were listed ahead of keto, even though those are ultra-processed food diets with prepackaged meals. And Dean Ornish's diet was put up way ahead of keto, even though it really isn't a diet per se. The Dean Ornish diet was only done with a very small group of people, and most of the benefits, I think, actually came from the lifestyle stuff. Ornish was trying to get them to do stress reduction, exercise, yoga, stuff like that, as well as eating more of a vegetarian type of diet. And when you put in that many variables, you can't really know what made the difference in the health. So, I always kind of discounted Dean Ornish's diet because the only test that they've ever done on it was actually a multivariable test. And as a result, it doesn't prove anything. But we do know this. There's a lot of data out on keto, carnivore, low-carb diets. Virta Health has done intense studies over years showing how it helps people with type 2 diabetes to get off their medication and reverse the disease. It works for weight loss. It reduces blood pressure. It helps a lot of people stop autoimmune diseases. I frankly, I keep sitting here shaking my head, looking at these results from U.S. News and World Report going, what planet are these experts living on? They're completely ignoring stuff. They're kind of like stuck in their own little echo chamber and ignoring all the reality that's going on around them. But when it comes to your health, man, I'm telling you, you can't trust the media. You can't trust the government. Remember, in this battle for our health, we are all alone, but we can all be alone in this together. So if you like this message, please hit the like, subscribe button, join this tribe. If you have any comments on it, if you read the report from U.S. News and World Report and were as appalled as I was, would you please let people know that? I mean, this may at some point get to the attention of the editorial board that we're not listening to you guys anymore because you're just utterly stupid. And when you're discounting this much scientific information and you're stuck in an echo chamber, you're nothing more than the United States food guidelines. I mean, these guys are just a bunch of industry shills that are completely ignoring all the evidence. And it's frustrating and aggravating to me because people are being led down a primrose path where they're following all the recommendations. And the reason why I get mad about it is because that was me. 10 years ago, I was 300 some odd pounds. I was going blind. I was having all the health problems because I was following the government advice and what the media kept telling us what the healthy way to eat was. And it was making me fat and unhealthy. And thankfully, I found a better way. I found a way out. And that's why I created this channel to help share that information with other people. So if you like this, please hit the like, subscribe. And I try to put out at least a couple messages each week. I will talk to you again soon.